All right, what is going on, my dudes? This right here is pre-buff Jane Foster on the live server. After July 4th, they had a lot of stuff in overflow, and I did what I tell you guys never to do, and that's rank up a champion pre-buff. But it's a good thing because I'm going to be able to show you some pre-buff gameplay and some post-buff gameplay of Thor Jane Foster. Sig 20 Thor. So as you can see right here, Thor lets loose that which smashes, dealing guaranteed critical hits, dealing 179 critical damage rating against stunned opponents. This is Jane Foster post-buff, all right? So basically, this buff, it was a very, very tiny buff. It essentially moved that Sig ability at Sig 200 into her base kit right here, okay? So what it kind of did was it took away the Sig investment that was previously required for Thor Jane Foster to be pretty okay. So now, if you have an unduped 6-star Jane Foster, she is pretty okay, as opposed to being absolutely ridiculously useless. In the past, if you had a Sig 200 pre-buff Jane Foster, she was pretty okay. My 5-star, rank 5, Sig 200, pretty okay. Of course, I have much better champions, so I never use her, despite how much I love the character, which is why I ranked up the new buff, right? But today, we're gonna jump into what, like, an unduped Jane Foster pretty much could do. So of course, this is a damage showcase, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So this is going to be right here, our classic Deadpool, right? This is Jane Foster, no suicides, no nothing, completely unduped. She will have the same damage. She has some utility in her kit that we're going to go ahead and showcase, all right? So, this is, Deadpool, not too much going on here. That's why we come here and use him as a punching bag. He's a little bit more aggressive than Winter Soldier. Plus, he has some regen too, okay? So, one thing that made Jane a little bit more reliable here as well with her new buff, right, is that the shocks last a little bit longer, and also when they are stunned, they have, as you can see right here, rank 3 of the Petrify Mastery active. So what that's going to do is it's going to give pretty much a 30% suppression while the defender is stunned, okay? And that's essentially new. That's a part of the buff. So check out the power bar right here. As you can see, when we hit, it doesn't do as much damage as like those 2 heavy attacks normally would. So that's nice. It's nice. It's definitely a little bit of an improvement. It's all right, but let's go ahead and take a look now at this same fight, pre-buff, and on the top, we have buffed Jane, okay? So we're gonna play them side by side, and we're gonna look at the damage difference and see if there is any, okay? So of course, like I said, Sig 20 Jane, right? 5,730 on the heavy attack. Buffed Jane Foster, about 7k on the heavy attack. So that is definitely a significant improvement there when it comes to the damage, okay? Now, it's nothing game-changing, and I'll say that until I'm blue in the face. It is not a game-changing Magneto level OP buff. That's not what this is. It just isn't. It's a little bit of a tune-up on a champion who, in my opinion, needed a rework, okay? So I'm really hoping that this is a bit of a Gamora situation where she gets 2 more buffs and then the last one is really good. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate for sure. I definitely wanted more from her, but there is definitely no denying that she is better because the top could be done completely unduped. There would be absolutely no difference at all. And the bottom, like I said, is just Sig 20. So if you previously had a Thor Jane Foster that was unduped, as you can see, the buffed one already won. So it's just, yeah, it's better. The thing I do want to point out, for a champion who does want to spam Special 1 quite a bit, she does get a pretty significant damage increase from the Suicide Masteries, man. And I'm talking like pretty significant. Like, that's actually good. A 12.3k heavy crit that's guaranteed every single time you do it. It's not bad. It's not amazing. And again, she could have done this at Sig 200 in the past if you were crazy enough to put 200 Sigs into Jane Foster. Now, if you have an unduped one or a Sig 21 or even Sig 41, this is what your Jane Foster is going to look like right here. And if you run the Suicide Masteries, it's pretty decent, as you can see. It's actually kind of good, dare I say. It's not awful, might I suggest. Yeah, again, nothing game breaking here, but like she's better and she has no more sig investment, which is good because nobody used the sig ability, right? Nobody put sigs into her, I mean. Now, there are some really cool places to use this type of guaranteed crit ability, and this is I already started making an ultimate showcase video for her, and this is part of it. I'll show you a little clip right here. This is going to be heavy assault in Act 7, and the damage here is just, it's pretty nutty. So there are actually a lot of different nodes where Jane's going to be useful for, but check it out right here. Boom, 51k. There's also Foresight here. If you go for the Foresight heavy attack, you get, bam, a nice 65k heavy attack. So that's definitely fun. She definitely has her uses in like relevant endgame content. So that's definitely cool. Now, her new sig ability here, each time Thor inflicts a personal shock effect on the opponent, she also has a 100% chance to nullify all power gain buffs on them. That's actually really great. Stuff like Hyperion, stuff like, I don't know, other nodes, right? With power gain buffs. Arcus, she has nice energy resistance too right there. She also has, where is it? Additionally, while the opponent has at least one shock effect on them, they suffer a minus 80% ability power rate. That's at 600, of course. But remember when everybody was doing that like annoying evil Hyperion, right? Well, I did it with Jane Foster back in the day, pre-buff, right? 5-star rank 5. I think Sig 200, or did I use it a 6-star? Don't even remember. But much improved here because she now can nullify power gain buffs when she's awakened, which is actually nice utility. And of course, most Mystic champions can nullify stuff, but on top of also her heavy stagger got a very nice buff as well, because now it's a guaranteed 17-second stagger, 2 of them on the heavy attack, which is definitely much improved from, I believe it was like an 85% chance to put the 2 staggers for like 7 seconds. So this is much improved. As you can see, we're really going to take away all possibilities of power gain happening just by stacking up these staggers over and over and over. Going for the special 2 against a cosmic champion will give us a passive shock. And yeah, I mean, from this point on, that shock is going to reduce his ability power rate, and also at the same time, he's not going to be gaining any of his power gain buffs because the staggers are like many staggers, and every single time we nullify a power gain buff, the special 2 shock is actually paused. Now, it doesn't do too much damage, it's more so for utility there, that shock, right? But as you can see, this Hyperion was just pretty much embarrassed and just flushed right down the toilet, of course, as one might say. But yeah, that's Jane's buff. It's okay. She's definitely better. That's good. I was obviously hoping for more as the world's biggest Jane Foster fan. But listen, she's better, and the signature ability moving into the base kit was enough for me to rank 3 her on the live server. So that's cool. She doesn't need SIGs in order to nullify power gain buffs, which is nice. The damage is okay when you're running suicides, you know. She's also 100% resistant to shock now. I'm already, like I said, I'm working on the Jane Foster rank 3 ultimate showcase video, which is pretty much going to be one of those where I do like bring her to like 15 or more different endgame lanes and show her like taking some fights on those lanes, as well as some bosses as well. Because that's where I think she's going to be like pretty solid as like an underrated option there, especially for people with smaller rosters. So if you have like an absolutely stacked Mystic roster, unless you're a fan of the character, you're probably not going to be wanting to rank Thor up. Personally, really big fan. So hey man, I had like a billion catalysts and overflow. It was kind of a no-brainer at this point. She's getting buffed. I just duped her a few days ago. Ranked her up. It's cool, you know. But yeah, she's not going to be OP. She's not going to be game-changing. But she's definitely improved, man. And she's usable now when she's unduped, and she's usable at a low sig. So if you like what you see here, you could rank her up. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a much bigger Jane video. If you like what you see there, you could rank her up. It's totally up to you, man. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Comment what you think about the Thor Jane Foster buff in the comment section below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that video coming to you very, very soon. I'll be seeing you around, man.